Sew a collar. A collared garment is very versatile because you can wear it casually or in semi-formal occasions. Collared shirts never go out of fashion and are a great way to make a memorable first impression. A lot of clothing manufacturers make collared shirts and collared garments, but you can create your own collar and sew them on your clothing to give it that extra touch of class and pizzazz. Making these collars is quite easy because the technique of putting collars on clothes is practically identical. Follow the instructions below and prepare the following items: fabric scissors, thread sewing machine, iron and ironing board, fabric pencil, interfacing pattern. Decide which garments will receive the collar. Pick out the clothes that you want to stitch a collar to. Make sure that the pattern or color that you choose for the collar will match the color or look of the garment you chose. If you pick out a clashing design, pattern, or color, it will make your clothes look garish and ugly. Prep the collar. Lay out the garment and the collar and see if they match up well. If they do, cut out the collar from the fabric and use your fabric pencil to indicate dots, notches and center marks. Since the collar goes around, you need to mark the front and back ends. Put on interfacing. Take your interfacing and put it along the upper collar half. You may need to consult manufacturer's instructions for this step. Trim away the interfacing from the corners and stitch a ½ inch all the way around your collar pieces. Stitch the collar sides together. Take your pins and put the collar pieces that have right sides to one another. Sew in the longer piece using a 5/8 inch seam. And then stitch both sides of the collar with the same inch seam. Trim the seams. Using your scissors, trim one layer to about 3/8 inch and the other one to 1/4 inch. Trim away the bulk from the corners while you're at it. Sew the front and back. Now turn your collar and pull out the points of your newly made collar. Now stitch the front and rear garment parts with a simple 5/8 inch seam to the shoulders of the garment. Stitch the garment's neckline. Match up the notches and marks. You were asked to make notches on the garments early on. Now these marks come into play as you need to match the right side of your garment's neckline with the notches made on the collar. Stitch it with a 5/8 inch seam and then trim the seams. Refer to the directions. Be guided by the directions for the pattern in order to finish up the collar. Depending on the pattern you've chosen, there are specific instructions for front facings and on how to stitch your upper collar to your garment. Adding in a collar to your garments is quite easy once you get the hang of it. But you have to understand that not all garments go well with a collar. You have to judge for yourself if the collar will accentuate or ruin the garment.